Scorpio, you've been feeling like you're living in a world that's no longer yours, haven't you? As if you've outgrown the spaces that once welcomed you, the people who once understood you, the situations that once made sense in your life. It's a strange and sometimes frightening feeling, waking up every day and realizing that the things that once fulfilled you now suffocate you, that the relationships that once nourished you now drain you, that the environments where you once felt at home now make you feel like an outsider watching from the outside. It's not depression, it's not a phase, it's not you being too demanding or difficult to satisfy. It's something much deeper and much more sacred than that. It's the universe showing you incontrovertibly that you no longer belong in the cycle you've been in for so long, that your soul has evolved to a level that no longer fits the old molds of your life. And as uncomfortable as this may be, as lonely as you may feel in this process, it is also the greatest gift the cosmos could give you. You've been experiencing a silent death for months, not the death of your body, but the death of old versions of yourself that no longer serve who you've become. And every death, even when necessary and liberating, hurts. It leaves a void. It creates a feeling of wandering without direction. Because when something dies inside you, it takes time for the new to be fully born and for you to feel whole again. The universe has a particular way of dealing with Scorpios who are ready to transcend. It doesn't gently whisper or suggest gradual changes. It triggers internal earthquakes. It puts you in situations where the only option is to transform or be destroyed by your own resistance to change. And lately, your life has been a series of these earthquakes, hasn't it? Relationships that once seemed solid suddenly feel superficial and dull. People who once understood you now look at you as if you were an unrecognizable version of yourself. Activities that once brought you pleasure now feel empty and purposeless. It's as if you're watching your own life from the outside, recognizing the scenes and characters, but unable to genuinely connect with anything. Scorpio, this disconnection isn't accidental. It's not a problem to be solved or a phase to be overcome. It's a cosmic reconfiguration that's happening specifically because you're ready for something much bigger than what your current life can offer. The universe is literally pushing you out of cycles that have become too small to contain who you're becoming. For years, perhaps decades, you operated within certain patterns. You accepted certain types of relationships, tolerated certain environments, pursued certain goals that seemed important at the time. But now that your consciousness has expanded, your sensitivity has deepened, your perception of reality has become more refined, these same patterns have become gilded prisons you can no longer inhabit. The hardest part of this process is that the people around you don't understand what's happening to you. They see your changes as whims or temporary phases. They try to convince you to go back to who you were before, as if that were possible or desirable. They don't understand that you're not choosing to be different. You simply can't be who you were anymore, even if you wanted to. For Scorpios born between October 23rd and November 2nd, this ending cycle primarily involves how you relate to power and control. You're discovering that true power comes from the ability to influence through authenticity, not manipulation or domination. For those born between November 3rd and 12th, the ending cycle is related to your relationship with emotional intensity. You're learning that being profound doesn't mean being dramatic, that true intensity can coexist with inner peace. For those born between November 13th and 22nd, the end of the cycle involves your relationship with mysteries and hidden knowledge. You're transcending the need to know everything and learning to trust the unknown. Scorpio, I know you've been carrying this feeling of not belonging in silence, perhaps even wondering if there's something wrong with you because you can no longer fit in where you once felt comfortable. But I need you to understand. You're not alone in this process of cosmic uprooting. And you, have you ever experienced that feeling of living in a world that is no longer yours, where nothing makes the same sense as it did before? If this resonates with your experience, leave a comment saying, "I know exactly what it's like to no longer belong in the places that used to be my home." Your courage in acknowledging this transformation may be exactly what another Scorpio needs to read today, to understand that this strangeness they feel isn't loneliness, it's evolution. That this emptiness isn't depression, it's space being created for something much greater to enter their life. The universe has specific ways of proving that you no longer belong in certain cycles. It places you in familiar situations and makes you feel like an actor trying to play a role you no longer remember. Conversations that once flowed naturally now feel forced and superficial. Places where you once felt energized now leave you exhausted. People who once inspired you now seem stuck in patterns you've already transcended. It's as if you were an adult trying to play with children's toys. There's nothing wrong with the toys. They're simply no longer developmentally appropriate. Likewise, there's nothing wrong with the aspects of your life that now seem inappropriate to you. They simply can no longer keep pace with your inner evolution. The process of not belonging to a cycle is painful because it means leaving behind not only situations and people, but also versions of yourself you've held on to. It means accepting that who you were served your growth up to a point. But now you must die so that who you truly are can be fully born. Scorpio has always been the sign of transformation, but that doesn't make the process any less intense when you're experiencing it firsthand. You know intellectually that change is necessary for growth, but when that change means questioning everything you've built, your entire identity, all your relationships, the experience becomes overwhelming. The universe proves that you no longer belong to a cycle by making it impossible to pretend you still fit in. It creates situations where your new consciousness directly conflicts with old patterns. It places you before a choice where you must decide between being true to who you've become or continuing to represent who you used to be so as not to upset anyone. And here's the truth that perhaps no one has told you yet. It's normal to feel lost during this process. It's normal to question whether you're making the right choices. It's normal to miss a simpler version of yourself, even though you know you can't go back to that. It's normal to feel fearful of the unknown that opens up before you when you refuse to continue living in outdated patterns. What the universe is proving through this experience of not belonging is that you are destined for something far greater than what your current life offers. That your deepest aspirations were not unrealistic fantasies, but inklings of what is truly possible for you. That the dissatisfaction you felt was your spirit refusing to accept less than it deserves. In the coming months, this feeling of being between worlds will intensify. You'll feel like a traveler in a foreign land, recognizing some familiar elements, but realizing that the rules are different, that people speak a language you're just beginning to learn, that the customs are not the same as you're used to. This is the most challenging phase of the process, but also the most important. It's when you stop trying to force fits that no longer exist and start trusting the unknown. It's when you accept that not knowing exactly where you're going is better than staying in places that no longer nourish your soul. The universe will continue to prove that you don't belong in the old cycle by creating opportunities for you to experience aspects of yourself that were dormant. It will connect you with people who operate at frequencies similar to your new vibration. It will open doors you didn't even know existed, but which have always been waiting for you to reach the level of consciousness necessary to perceive them. Scorpio, one of the most liberating things that will happen in this process is that you'll stop feeling obligated to explain your changes to people who can't understand them. You'll accept that some relationships naturally drift apart as you evolve, and that this isn't your fault or theirs. It's simply the natural dynamic of transformation. You'll find that your new self naturally attracts people and situations that align with who you've become. You don't have to strive to fit in, because when you're being authentically yourself, the right connections happen organically. The transition period can be lonely, but it doesn't stay that way. The universe doesn't pull you out of a cycle and leave you isolated indefinitely. It pulls you out to reposition you to a place where you can express your full potential, contribute your unique gifts, and live according to your deepest values. During this process, you may feel tempted to return to familiar situations just to escape the discomfort of not belonging. Resisting this temptation is crucial. Retreating at this point would be like trying to fit into clothes you've outgrown, uncomfortable, limiting, and ultimately untenable. The final proof that you no longer belong to the old cycle will come in the form of unshakable clarity about what you want and don't want in your life. A renewed ability to say no to situations that don't honor who you've become. A deep confidence that you deserve relationships, environments, and opportunities that match your new awareness. Scorpio, the universe isn't punishing you when it removes you from outdated cycles. It's honoring you. It's recognizing that you've grown beyond the limits that previously defined your reality. It's inviting you into a version of life you may not have even known was possible, but that was always your destiny to achieve. The non-belonging you feel now is temporary. It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming. It's the silence between two musical notes that allows the melody of your life to take a completely new direction. It's the necessary darkness before a new dawn. When you finally find your new place in the world, and you will, you'll look back on this period of transition with gratitude. You'll realize that every moment of discomfort, every feeling of not belonging, every questioning of your path were necessary steps toward a life that truly honors your essence. Over the next few days, pay close attention to how you feel in different environments and with different people. Notice where your energy expands and where it contracts. Pay attention to the situations that make you feel most alive and authentic, even if they're different from what you expected to bring you happiness. These are indicators of your new cycle, clues from the universe about where you truly belong, signs that the uprooting process is working exactly as it should, paving the way for your roots to establish themselves in much more fertile soil. The universe has already begun moving pieces on the cosmic chessboard to align circumstances that will support your new reality. Like-minded people, opportunities that honor your talents, environments that nourish your soul, all of these are being magnetically drawn into your life as you align with your deepest truth. Trust the process, even when it seems chaotic. Trust your intuition, even when it leads you down paths you can't fully map. Trust your transformation, even when its intensity frightens you. You are being guided by an intelligence far greater than your conscious mind, a wisdom that sees the full picture of your evolution. Scorpio, your soul chose this moment for this specific transformation. It's no accident that you're experiencing this uprooting now. It's because you're finally ready for something that was always possible for you, but needed to wait until you developed the spiritual maturity necessary to sustain it. The old cycle served its purpose. It taught you important lessons, gave you valuable experiences, and prepared you for this moment of transcendence. But now it has become an empty shell that you must leave behind to allow your new life to fully emerge. If this message touched something deep within you, if you recognized your own experience of not belonging in these words, that's no coincidence. It's confirmation that you're in the exact process you need to be, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's confusing, even when it makes you question everything. Share your experience of this transition process in the comments. No need to go into specific details. Just acknowledge that you're also going through this profound transformation. Your courage in validating your own experience can inspire other Scorpios to embrace their own changes with less resistance and more confidence. There comes a moment in life when the ground beneath your feet feels uncertain, when the place you once called home no longer fits who you are becoming. That sensation of not belonging is not a punishment, nor is it a sign that you are lost. It is the whisper of destiny, gently moving you toward the life you were always meant to live. Every step away from the old is a step closer to your true essence, And though this process may feel unsettling, even lonely at times, it is nothing less than the sacred path of transformation. Subscribe to the channel, because over the coming months, you will be walking through thresholds that will change you forever. This journey is not about surviving. It is about awakening. Here you will learn how to embrace the changes unfolding before you, how to welcome the silence of solitude not as emptiness but as fertile ground, and how to recognize the divine signs that tell you it is finally time to settle into the new cycle of your existence. Turn on notifications, because guidance will come exactly when you need it most. When doubts threaten to cloud your vision, when fear whispers that you are alone, the words you will hear here can remind you that you are guided, protected, and carried forward by forces far greater than yourself. You will never walk this path in isolation. The universe is your companion, and every video is a torch to light your way. Remember this truth. The universe is not stripping you away from where you belong. No, what it is doing is far more powerful. It is moving you, gently but firmly, toward the place you have always belonged, but were not yet ready to recognize. The uprooting you feel is not the end, it is the beginning, the ending of what was small, so that what is infinite can finally take root in your soul. Your true home, the one that aligns with your heart, your calling, and your destiny, is waiting for you. And this period of discomfort, of breaking away, is not cruelty. It is preparation. You are being reborn into the life that has always been yours, into the relationships, opportunities, and purpose that were written for you from the beginning of time. So, let yourself trust, let yourself hope again. Subscribe, stay connected, and walk this path with courage. The universe has already chosen you for this transformation. Now it's your turn to rise into the fullness of who you truly are.